G'day everyone, welcome back to Europe 1100. This is Fat Rod. I've got something a bit different for you today. I've done some long campaign runs without any player intervention. So the idea is to see how the game pans out, how the different kingdoms perform, who expands, who gets destroyed, so on and so forth. So should be some interesting results. I'll probably use this to make some balance changes, but it should also give people some ideas about what sort of game you want to play and what you can expect as you get into the end game. So we'll explain a little bit about the methodology, and then we'll get into it. So my methodology here was simply to start a campaign, park the hero in a settlement. I've then set the campaign speed to 15 times and let it run for 20 years. So I did this a total of 5 times, 5 separate games, 5 separate runs, each running for 20 years. So getting to the year 1120. Took about 2.5 hours each. So in total, about 12.5 hours of testing. And the game did pan out quite differently each time. So yeah, we will see some pretty interesting results. And with that, let's get into it. So what we're looking at here is a map of where each kingdom starts off at the beginning of the game. Spent about 3 hours on this, pretty happy with it, just quietly. But yeah, if we take a look at the numbers behind this and look at the relative strength, right off the bat, I think we've got a bit of an issue because Almoravids, Holy Roman Empire, and the Byzantines are the strongest. But of course, Holy Roman Empire, even though they're big on paper, they could never really wield that power ultimately. The Byzantines, they should be on the decline. They're shrinking from this point onwards in history. And then the Almoravids, they of course get kicked out of Spain, and Castile and Aragon coming together as the Kingdom of Spain. So probably want to change the starting points, but otherwise this is going to be our template. I've got 5 different versions of this based on each of the 5 test runs. So we'll see how each of those pan out. Okay, so starting with the baseline, and then we'll transition, fast forward 20 years into the future and see what happens. So straight away, 7 kingdoms didn't make it. Venice is gone, Castile is gone, Papal States are gone, Sicily, the Crusader States, and Hungary and Poland. On the flip side, France has expanded into Spain. Almoravids have also expanded within Spain. Aragon actually held on, which we'll see is a bit of a running theme. Holy Roman Empire taken over Poland, all of Italy, Sicily, Corsica, and Sardinia. Byzantines on a bit of a reconquista. They've conquered Bulgaria, Hungary, part of Anatolia, and moving into modern-day Ukraine. Seljuks have wiped the Crusaders and pushed into Fatimid territory. I do like that, I'm going to say, because I do think the Crusaders should struggle unless the player helps them out, kind of help with the historical accuracy of the situation. Scandinavians have done absolutely nothing changing there at all, along with this, the English, the Scots, and the Irish. Nothing changing in the Isles either. So that's it for our first test. Gives us a bit of a flavour for what we can expect. Okay, so starting with our baseline again, and then we'll once again transition 20 years into the future. So, quite different results this time. Castile is gone again, along with Poland, the Baltic states, Venice, and Sultanate of Rum. Spain's been mostly conquered by the Almoravids, although Aragon has survived again and actually expanded a bit. Almoravids are actually taking over North Africa and even fighting with the Hammadids, which is good because that's what actually happened in history. Holy Roman Empire and England are completely eating up France. And England, a bit of the Angevin Empire starting there, which is cool. Byzantines, absolute rampage. They've taken Poland, Hungary, Venice, Anatolia, and the Levant. Funnily enough, the Crusaders have been pushed into Arabia, and the Seljuks have had to retreat up into the Caucasus. So another big one for the Byzantines. We also see Sweden expanding into Norway, which is good. So they're not completely dormant up there in the north. And once again, Ireland, Scotland, pretty much nothing. So moving on to test 3. Different results again, although some familiar faces. This time we lost Venice, Sultanate of Rome, Aragon, and surprisingly France, completely wiped out by Holy Roman Empire. And HRE has also taken most of Poland. Now, even though Aragon is gone, Castile has survived and actually taken most of Iberia from Almoravids. Byzantines have taken Hungary, southern Italy, and western Anatolia, while the Crusaders have taken the east from the Seljuks. Sweden has once again made a move into Norway, and once again, pretty much nothing happening in Ireland, Scotland, or with England. Okay, moving on to test 4. The casualties this time were Castile, Sicily, Crusader states, the Baltic states, Venice, once again, and Sultanate of Rome. Holy Roman Empire expanding west, taken most of France and most of Iberia, also taken all of Italy, Sicily, and just the exception being Sardinia, where the Papal States have camped themselves. Byzantines have taken parts of Hungary, all of Anatolia, and part of the Crusader states. Interestingly, this time, the Fatimids have expanded, basically wiping the Crusaders and the Seljuks, which, from a historical perspective, I'm quite glad that can happen, because obviously that's, Fatimids under Saladin actually start to move up into the Levant, so that's good. Also worth noting this time is that the Cumans have expanded into Rus territory a little bit, and Sweden once again moved into Norway. Why does Denmark always get left alone? I have no idea, but I think it's probably map related. Something about the combination of water, the ports, the ferries, just not a lot of land for the NPCs to move around, so something to look into. Okay, moving into final test. This one was surprisingly quiet. So only Venice and the Pechenegs got wiped out. Almoravids moved into Spain and France. Sicily's had a good run, pushing the Papal States over to Sardinia again. Byzantines managing to expand north, east and southeast again. I think if I let this one run longer, they probably would have started to dominate again. Seljuks gained a little bit of ground from the Crusaders, and finally Sweden once again moving into Norway, but Norway has actually managed to take Gothenburg, so that's promising for the Scandinavian regions. Okay, so what do we make of all this? Well, this chart is showing us the average increase in manpower for each faction across all 5 test runs. What we can see pretty clearly is that every faction, with the exception of the bottom 4, is able to grow. The problem, like I said at the beginning, is if that we want our campaign to play out as close to history as possible, we've got to do something about the big ones: Almoravids, Holy Roman Empire, and the Byzantines. My key takeaways: I'm probably going to look at buffing each of the bottom 4 to start out with, along with Hungary, and also France and England, to see if that can slow down the growth of those big 3. The other one I want to take a look at is Scandinavia, in particular Denmark. I want to see what I can do to increase the action up there a bit more. Otherwise, I was pretty happy with these results. Seeing the Crusaders, the Seljuks and the Fatimids trade blows, depending on the campaign, was pretty cool. So that's it for this video, something a bit different. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, any other insights or takeaways people take from this data. But that's it, and we'll see you next time.